Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and these are my most overdue crowdfunding campaigns. This is a yearly series I have been doing for 3 years now. This would be the 4th year, so I guess for 4 years now. Technically it's 3 years. This is the 4th year we are doing this video. We've done one 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I shouldn't add it, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and now we're doing it now. The last time I did this video was March of 2024. We are now in May of 2025, so 14 months later, and some things are still not here. When I first started this series 3 years ago, that first one way back when, there's only one campaign from that video that is still late, and that is, yes, the main placeholder of this entire video is Stormsunder. Stormsunder is still late, we'll go through all of those, but basically, let's just go ahead and lay out the criteria, and also this might be the last year I do this. I don't know, I just feel every year that I do this, the list is more of the backlog of the things that may never happen. So it's becoming less interesting. The first half of this video is the stuff from last year that still isn't here. The good news is the other half of that list showed up. We'll go through all that in a second, but let's go through the criteria. The criteria to be part of this video is your campaign has to be a year late. Not a year since when the campaign launched, a year after the date they gave you as the estimated date of delivery. Also because I get comments every year saying, what about this and you forgot that and this and that. These are only the campaigns that I've personally backed. It is still possible I forgot something or missed something, but these are only the campaigns that I backed, not the campaigns that failed or are late. It's purely about my experiences with crowdfunding and how well some of these things are doing. To that end, we're going to go ahead and do a quick recap of the past 3 years first, kind of talking about where those things are, especially focusing on some of the things that have delivered, because the nice part is every single year a whole bunch of the ones that are late do actually show up across the course of the year. The less nice part is that there are some regular appearances that keep showing up year after year that at this point, I don't know what to expect or not to expect. Yes, we have Mythic games in this video. If this is the last time I do this video, they'll still get a final shout out. And if I do it in the future, we'll see if I include them or not. So let's go ahead and dive into it, starting off with a quick recap of the previous years. My first one, my most delayed Kickstarter campaigns from 10 months to 3 years overdue, and we have an ad. That's not relevant because I'm going down to the description over here. I want to see this part over here. From these, we had, well, not Borderlands. Borderlands was a sponsor at the time. We have the Everrain, Tenaris, Divinity, Trudvang, Oathsworn, Arcase, Blacklist Miniatures, The Hunters, Stormsunder, Guards of Atlantis, Wonderland's War, Monumental African Empires, The Age of Atlantis, Hell the Last Saga. So I guess technically 2 of these from the original video because I still do not have Hell the Last Saga, and I might get it at some point because the production was taken over by CMON if I recall correctly, so hopefully I'll see it from them, but I no longer fault CMON for it being late, although CMON of course has their own issues, but also Stormsunder. Stormsunder is here. The good news is by the time Stormsunder ships, its tariffs will no longer be in place. That's going to be our 3 years ago video. 2 years ago, we're doing less positive, still decent, but definitely some things that decided not to show up over here. We have, what do we have over here? We have Tranquility showed up, Primal, Stormsunder is still there, that did not show up, Chai Tea for 2, I doubt I will ever get it, but hey, fingers crossed on that. Anything else I still do not have? USS Freedom is still making an appearance in this video as well, so that's 3 over there. Rallyman Dirt, I never received my campaign, the one that I pledged for, like I pledged for an all-in. I do have a retail copy, but I technically still never got my game, nor do I expect to, because Holy Grail Games shut down. Hell the Last Saga is still back, so 5 campaigns from 2 years ago. From last year, which is the most positive, the worst I guess, because we have everything from just a year ago. From last year, we have the following. So we had 2 from the first year, from 3 years ago, 5 outstanding from 2 years ago, and from 1 year ago, we are still waiting on Stormsunder, Chai Tea for 2, USS Freedom, the 6 Siege, no. Legend Academy, we're still waiting on that one. We're still waiting on, technically I am still waiting on 6 Siege. I never actually got my copy. I got a copy from Devin, friend of the channel, so I never actually got a copy from them. We have Legend Academy still waiting on, Velocity Vanguard still waiting on, Monsterpocalypse, Doubt I'll Ever See, Wild Assent waiting on, and so 7 from last year. Although again, technically some of the ones I give up on didn't really show up. Which brings us to this year. With all those things that were left outstanding, where are we on my most outstanding campaigns? The first half of this video is just going to be a recap of prior years because I'll still be going over the ones that I'm still waiting on for the most part. Sometimes when I gave up completely, I ignored it, like Rallyman Dirt is still not in this video, versus the fact that a bunch of things in Mythic are because a new one entered the mix. Anastyr entered the mix, and with that, we're going to focus on Mythic as a general collective. But that said, the placeholder is Stormsunder. From Lazy Squire Games, my most outstanding campaign, which is suiting, which is appropriate, because the first time I did this video, I think my most outstanding campaign was the original Wild Assent, and that did show up. It was just when I was beginning to lose hope, Wild Assent showed up, and I loved Wild Assent. My opinion of Wild Assent is a drop tainted at this point. As much as I like Lazy Squire Games, the people behind it, the degree of hopelessness behind ever receiving this, kind of puts it in a place where I don't even know what my feelings are around the game, both Stormsunder and Wild Assent. I am still anxiously awaiting Stormsunder. I'm like $800 all in on this. I'm like, I think this is the most amount of money I have on a single game that I may never receive. I still remain optimistic. I've said this before, but the fact that he goes in every single month and posts an update and takes a beating every single month without fail, there's an update about some, character they're working on, some cute little puns, and to me, maybe I'm just silly, I don't know, but if you are the creator and you know this is never showing up, why subject yourself to that month after month? At a certain point, give up and move on, because most of your backers already have. The fact that he continues to do this makes me think that at least he believes that there's a chance this will show up. Does that chance mean that it will? Absolutely not. But unless you're just a glutton for punishment, he must feel there's still a chance for this to happen. And I hope it does, because from King of Average, I never got a chance to play Stormsunder, but I know King of Average really enjoyed it. I really enjoy Wild Assent. I think there's good games here, and I hope this isn't one that fades into the mist. I also hope it's not here in next year's video, if I do a next year's video. So Stormsunder, the one that's always here. Chai Tea for 2. I don't know why I still put this here. I think that this is another one that you should really give up on, so to speak. Last update is May 13th, 2024. That's not now. That's May 13th, 2024. I think there's a decent chance we will never ever see this. The comments are less than 2 weeks to go. We can do it till they have their year long, until there's no update at all. I don't imagine this ever happens. And I was wrong on this one. When this first launched, there were people who were already calling, not when it launched, shortly after it launched, there were people who were already calling this as an issue. And I was like, no, there's no issue. People were complaining about the last campaign. The last campaign did deliver. There was lots of much ado about nothing. Turns out their much ado about nothing was correct. There was much ado about something, in the sense that this never actually delivered. So far, still hasn't delivered. Doesn't look like it will. No idea what's actually going to happen, but $200,000 down the drain on a game that I thought was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good game, but if it showed up tomorrow, I would immediately sell it or trade it, because I have no interest in playing this game anymore. And I'm not usually affected by delays or issues or frustrations, but it takes a certain level to get there. But Chai Tea for 2 certainly has. The way this is run, the creators behind the game, they were nice people. I interacted with them way back when. They were nice people. I'm sure they are nice people, but I don't think they were able to manage the way they managed the expectations of the people who gave them money. I think is problematic. You have companies like Final Frontier Games that just went out of business, and they kind of for better or for worse, the whole thing sucks, but at least they took it on the chin. They were direct about things. Doesn't mean that they did everything right along the way. Absolutely not. But did they end on a good note as far as clear communication? Yes, as opposed to the creators of Chai Tea for 2, a whole lot of gaslighting, a whole lot of excuses, a whole lot of nothing, an update before there's a convention, and then nothing else after. It's really not great. Chai Tea for 2. It may never be here again. We'll see. USS Freedom. This one, again, this is an interesting one. This one I have less, I'm not annoyed at the creator on this one. I probably should be, but I'm not. They have this campaign. It's been going on forever. They post periodic updates. They've talked about their issues. They've been transparent. They've talked about the things they're doing to try to focus on delivering. They've been very communicative, and you can see this in the backers. You can look at the tone on any of these campaigns and see the backers' comments and see which backers are incredibly frustrated and which backers are more understanding. And that usually gives you a good line of how a creator can manage their audience, because you can be 4, 5 years late and not deliver and have your audience be understanding if you handle that well. Versus if you don't, your backers will not be understanding. So USS Freedom, definitely very, very late, but a very good degree of communication, very clear communication overall, an audience that mostly is sympathetic and understanding. Granted, it helps they only have 800 backers as opposed to, 4,000 backers, but nonetheless, one of the better ones relative to how late it is. Legend Academy. I was hopeful last year that when I talked about it that this would be delivering. I'm still hopeful. From all the games, let me just look at the titles over here. From all the games that are on this list that I am wondering if I'll get, because there's a few that there's a few that I still think I'll get, they're just late. But from all the games that are on this list that I'm wondering if I will ever get, I think Legend Academy is most likely the one I want the most. It's tied with another one, which we'll get to soon enough, that I am less optimistic about. But Legend Academy, I really want. I love this game. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I am sad beyond belief that this is one of the games that has had this happen, and I really, really hope it shows up. The last update is, let's see how far back, time to finalize shipping in February. It's now May, and so far, shipping isn't updated. I don't believe you're currently getting it just yet. Let me see comments over here. I don't believe. Receive QUODD confirmation. Oh, it looks like things are happening. Look at this. Look at this. This is not bad. This is not bad. Eternal Optimism for the win. Just got my address confirmation. Oh, this is a good day to I'm filming this May 2nd, by the way. And it looks like everyone's getting their emails on May 2nd. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Smirks, a lot of people said this was fake and there were no games. Wow, what a day. This is a good day. This is a good day. I'm excited because I told you this is one that I really wanted to show up. This is one of those games that, oh my, okay, cool. Good day to this video. Looks like Legend Academy will probably be delivering, maybe not by the time this video goes live, but hopefully at some point soon. I am pleasantly surprised about this. I'm happy. I'm just happy. Okay, this is a good video today. It's a good, again, this is one of the two games that I want the most from the ones that I don't think will actually, from the ones I was less confident would show up. There's another one I definitely very much want, but I'm pretty sure it'll be showing up soon. Then we have Velocity Vanguard, another very, very old one. I thought this was an excellent game. It was as a table hog. So this and another, what's the other game? There was another game I covered that was a massive table hog that I can't remember. It was recently a GameFound campaign. It's like $200,000. There's a giant rural ending. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a good game. Anyways, this one over here, Velocity Vanguard, is another game that is a giant table hog, but a very unique game that I don't know if I'll keep it, but I do want it. And the table hog part is the big deal. Like, if you get a certain point in table space where I don't know how easy it is to actually pull out a table, that can get in the way. But the movement system in this game was unlike any other game I had. It was a fascinating puzzle unto itself. I really enjoyed the navigational aspect of how to drift through space, trying to keep track of everything, trying to be on top of how your ship moves as you power things up. I thought this was an excellent game with solo, cooperative, and competitive, all of which were, because the whole pivot of the game was about the movement, I just thought they did a really good job, and hopefully this one's showing up soon, because I don't know exactly when it is. It looks like, you know, and no good news. Now I'm popping into all the comments hoping for more good news, but that does not look like it's the case here. But I still think this is happening. Like March, they still have a March 30th update. It sounds like this is happening. We shall see, but I am still optimistic on this one. Then we have Wild Ascent Live On Rising. I love Wild Ascent. I am less into, like, there I am on the page over here, telling you how much I love Wild Ascent. I still think Wild Ascent is great. I am more conflicted on it. Again, there's a certain point where you tap into that goodwill and it slowly ekes out a little bit. I would love to see Live On Rising. I thought it was a better version of Wild Ascent, and I already liked Wild Ascent. I thought the story was more interactive. They took all the good parts and they made it a more interactive campaign in the way it was structured. I think this is a great game, and I really, really hope it shows up one day, because they took another $800,000 before we even get to pledge managers, late pledges, all that. Lazy Squire Games is, man, I hope it all works out. I really do. It's I really hope it does. These are good games. Wild Ascent is a good game, and Stormsunder supposedly is a good game. I hope they show up one day. Until then, moving onwards. Then we have Monsterpocalypse, Hell of the Last Saga, and Anastyr. The only reason I chose to include Mythic Games today is when I was going over the new ones to add. Anastyr was now on the list as a new one. Was it estimated delivery July? Actually, I'm wrong. It should have been on last year's. Why was it not on last year's? I don't know. But Anastyr should have been on last. Did I put it on last year and just forget? Did I miss it? Either way, Mythic Games, they should absolutely be in this video. I don't think I'll be seeing their games per se, but I might be seeing their games from other companies who are picking up the helm. I think it's pretty clear that Mythic, at this point, nothing's happening, but I'd love to see. Monsterpocalypse, I don't even care if I get it, honestly. Like, I liked the game, but it wasn't like, it wasn't the best of their games. It was a fun monster fighting romp. But Hell of the Last Saga, I was intrigued by, and I know people who played it who enjoyed it. And Anastyr, that was a pretty fun game. It was like Zombicide vibes, but with like a side-scrolling system. I enjoyed Anastyr and would love to see that come to life. Also, the art was incredible. The miniatures, the Mythic Games always did fantastic miniatures. So I'd love to see these happen. Both Hell and Anastyr were picked up, so hopefully they will. But we shall see. The next one is the other campaign that would rival Legend Academy in terms of the one I most want to get outside of, well, Legend Academy, and that's QUODD Heroes. QUODD Heroes 2nd Edition, at this point, we're more than a year late. At this point, we're past the, September 2023, should have been delivered in, I guess, what is that? Should have been delivered in No, Anastyr, 1 second. If Anastyr, that is correct. If Anastyr was supposed to deliver in July 2023, then when I did my video in May of... Yeah, no, that's right. Anastyr wouldn't have been in last year's video. It wouldn't have been. I did the math right. QUODD Heroes was supposed to deliver in September of 2023, which means in theory it should be delivering, in order to be eligible for this video, we'd be looking at September of 2024, which means it's officially now a year and a half late. But I don't think it's ever showing up, or at least the last updates seem to indicate that that is less and less likely, which is a shame because I think QUODD Heroes is fantastic. I am happy I didn't get rid of my first edition copy. For a long time I was like, I should get rid of my first edition copy because I have the second edition coming. But that seems like that's not happening anymore, or it seems like it's very less likely to happen. And so, as much as I still want my second edition copy, I don't know, I'm not waiting. I'm not holding out hope. I would love it to happen. The updates that were left off towards the end seem to imply that, not that it's goodbye forever, but that it is, no current plans, and he's giving himself room to process whatever that means. Which those kinds of comments don't engender a lot of goodwill. Again, I understand. I do believe that any creator going through this kind of thing is going through a degree of mental hardship that you and I do not wish for. I genuinely believe that. You don't want to be the person who's letting 2,000 people down. You really don't. I remember when I used to run Board Game Co. Okay, a little bit of a side story over here, side quest. When I used to run Board Game Co., the retail operation, where I used to have a store that sold, we bought and sold used board games. That was the primary. We had new games too, but a bulk of our business, 70% of our business was used games. And to that end, when I closed down Board Game Co., there was a degree of just sheer relief. Because as much as we had a ton of repeat business, as much as we had a ton of people who loved us and would come back again and again to trade and buy and sell because there was a great used game store, at the end of the day, used games come with a higher degree of issues than new games. Which meant we had a lot of people who understood that, they knew what they were signing up for, they were getting good deals but occasional issues and things like that, and they were happy customers. But then someone else would come along and they'd have some sort of small issue, whatever the issue might be, whether it's a bent card, a missing coin, whatever the issue might be, and they'd be frustrated with us. Which meant a part of running Board Game Co. meant letting down people on a semi-regular basis. Not a ton, but we did enough volume that, 2 times a week there'd be someone who was frustrated with the game they got. And then I'd have to resolve that for them and take care of that. And it became a bigger and bigger mental hassle to let people down. I don't like letting people down. I don't like making people unhappy. I don't like people having any degree of frustration in their day because of me. I believe if you are a halfway decent person and you run a campaign where you have to let thousands of people down, I believe that is a huge degree. And for me, letting them down was, I'm sorry that your coin is missing. For someone like this, they're letting them down as, I'm sorry I took hundreds of dollars from you and you're getting nothing in return. For those who didn't start this out intending to scam people, which I think is everyone, I could be wrong, but I think is everyone, there's a degree of letting people down who you took something from them, you owe them something, and you realize and you wake up and you cannot deliver what you told them you would do. If you are a halfway decent person, that's going to weigh on you. At the same time, you can't just tell people who you did that to, I'm taking time for myself now to process. I understand where it comes from, and it might genuinely be the thing you need to do, but it doesn't ingratiate yourself with the people whose money you just took. Because you're like, I let you down so hard that it's weighing heavily on me, so I need to take time to let you down further. It's a cycle that doesn't really go well. But so I'm both sympathetic and also not sympathetic. No, I am sympathetic. I'm sympathetic. Doesn't mean I agree. Okay, I'm sympathetic without agreeing. That's, I guess, the answer I would give. Anyways, I know the question being asked here. Forsaken. Our next one is Forsaken. This one is supposed to be delivering in December of 2023, which means as of December 2024, it is a year late, and it's probably going to deliver. By all accounts, this one looks like it's going to be fine. I could be wrong, but it certainly seems like, based on updates, based on communication, granted it was Game Trace first, game campaign, but nonetheless, I believe this one is a safe bet, and I could be horribly wrong, but just from where things are, I just don't think I am. We have April 5th, a new update over here. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I could be wrong. But Forsaken, I like it. It's a good game. It takes the Western Legends system. I think it was better for me primarily because it played well at 2, which meant the downtime that I don't like in games like Western Legends, or in games like Forsaken that matter. Like, I've played Forsaken at 3 players, I've played at 2 players. I don't think I played it solo. I don't recall playing it solo. But at 2 players, it was great. At 3 players, it was slower than I would like. So excited for this one whenever it shows up, and I believe it will show up. Moving on next, we have more of a maybe. Megapulse, which was taken over by Tangerine Games. I thought this was a great racing game. I really enjoyed it. It seemed at a certain point that Orion Games was not going to be able to do this one. Tangerine Games picked it up, and it's late. Tangerine Games picked it up a year ago, and no, it's not here yet, which makes sense. It is a lower priority for them. Nonetheless, I'm putting it in the maybe camp. Hopefully it will deliver, but we shall see. But I thought it was a great racing game, and I would love for it to deliver. Then we have Rivet Wars. Rivet Wars Reloaded, specifically from Steamforged. Estimated delivery of February 2024. That means as of February 2025, it was a year late. So it's eligible for this video, although it does seem like this should be delivering soon. It's actually interesting. Steamforged is usually pretty good on their timelines. I would say for the most part, Steamforged does a great job at delivering either on time or within reason. Obviously, I'm not taking into account the original Dark Souls, but since then, they've done better and better with timelines. Not every campaign is perfect, but this being a year late is a little bit of a surprise. Hopefully things will go well in it. But yeah, it looks so far, the most recent update is about the tariffs impact, but basically shortly, they've done a few delays in terms of US backers, but outside of that, how will this impact, US fulfillment? Yeah, it's like, if we were to ship it, there'd be a real risk of them landing. Because of that, they're going to delay a possible fulfillment of US pledges. But I think if you're outside the US, it won't affect you. It looks like they're already going to be basically done. Your pledge should be collected in May. So this looks like it's going to be delivering soon for non-US backers and less soon for US backers. But this is originally a CMON title way back in the day. I remember playing this with my daughter, really enjoying it. And then they came out with a new version over here, which was just basically a streamlined, updated version. Looks great, has a good theme. It's a simple, fun skirmish game. I'm excited for the solo mode in particular because I want to go through like the solo campaigns of this. It's just a simple, fun, squad system that is very accessible, very charming, great artwork, and I'm looking forward to it. And then our last campaign for today is going to be Zombicide White Death, which was supposed to deliver in May 2024, which means as of May 2025, which is this month, they are officially a year late. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised it's only a year late. I think that, I kind of thought, mentally, I thought this was later than that, but that just could be when the campaign ran. But they put a May 2024 estimated delivery, which means it's only a year late, and it does seem like this one will be delivering soon. I say that with caution because they've said soon before. But right now they have, as of April 2025, we're going to, let's see, we want to begin this update with some information. You may be aware, done. Without further ado, here's a shipping update. USA containers have been dispatched from China are making their way to the hubs. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good as far as it delivering. I know my son would love to have this one already because he's been asking me for it for a year at this point. I don't need Zombicide myself, but I certainly want more Zombicide, and this is the only Zombicide I haven't played. I've actually been in the fortunate position to have played the newer Zombicide, so I played Deceased, but I didn't play White Death. White Death was this one where I skipped, where I didn't cover the prototype and haven't had the final version, versus every other Zombicide, I've either been able to play the retail version, or alternatively, or the Kickstarter when it's delivered, or alternatively been able to play the prototype. So this is the outstanding Zombicide that I am waiting on and hoping for. And that's what we have today. Those are the games. We have something like 14 games, whatever, half of them being from last year's video. Like I said already, this may or may not become another video in 2026. It kind of depends on what new things get added. I don't think there's much value in doing a video where I'm like, it's a year later, and 9 out of the 10 titles here are things that are still waiting from last year's video. That wouldn't be that interesting. we'll see, but if new things get added to the list, that's certainly a good reason to continue to make this video series. Once again, a recap, a reminder, these are about the games that I backed, that I'm waiting on, not about the wide array of other titles out there. But I will say, with that, if you are someone who backed a game that, let's go with 2 years late, any games you backed that are 2 years late, well past the year range on this video, feel free to put in the comments down below, because there's a lot of, and don't get me wrong, I still get games that I backed all the time. There's many games that I back that do show up on time or within a reasonable time frame. Most campaigns don't make its way into the series because most campaigns aren't a year late. They're already far out delivery time frame. The ones that make it are the ones that got dragged down. So for you, let me know in the comments down below the ones that are really, really late, the campaigns you're still waiting on, whether you have hope for them or not. If you could feel free to separate them. If you're like, I gave up on these ones and I still hope to get these ones. Some campaigns at this point we know are failures. For me, the first campaign that ever was a failure was Rallyman Dirt. Not the first, there might be earlier campaigns that I don't get, but the first time that I was like, I am definitely not getting this game was Rallyman Dirt. Until then, there were games that were late, and then after that, more failures popped up. But crowdfunding for a long time was a lot safer, and it still is relatively safe, all things considered. But ever since COVID, we went from It's incredibly rare for a bigger board game campaign to fail. Smaller ones all the time, but bigger board game campaigns didn't. But then ever since the COVID, they become more frequent. The first time I did this video, it was just about campaigns that were late. Now it's about campaigns that I may never ever get. And that's a different kind of conversation when you've spent hundreds of dollars on these games. Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you appreciate this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.